Hey there, welcome back to Total Chiefs, the go-to spot for everything Kansas City Chiefs. It's Derek here, and I've got some exciting updates that every Chiefs fan needs to hear. You and I both know how electric this team has been, right? Another dominant season in the books, and now it's all about tightening things up as we march toward another shot at the Lombardi Trophy. Brett Veach and Andy Reid, absolute geniuses. Their moves might seem subtle at times, but that's what makes them brilliant. Every decision is part of a bigger picture, one aimed at getting us closer to a third consecutive Super Bowl title. But hey, before we dive into today's juicy news, do me a quick favor, hit that like button below. Seriously, it's free, takes 2 seconds, and helps us keep this Chiefs community thriving. Got it? Great. Now, let's talk strategy. From last-minute roster tweaks to potential blockbuster moves, the Chiefs have been busy. You're going to love what's coming next because it's all about how this team stays ready no matter the stakes. What do you think is the smartest move the Chiefs have made this season? Drop your thoughts in the comments, let's chat. Alright, let's dive into some of the key roster moves that have been keeping the Chiefs sharp as ever. You know, when it comes to staying competitive, every single piece of the puzzle matters. Take Blake Lynch, for example. This guy stepped up in Week 18 against the Broncos and made a serious impact, playing 25 defensive snaps and dominating on special teams 96% of the plays. No less, Lynch showed up when it counted. And get this, Pro Football Focus rated him as the highest graded Chief for that game. Not too shabby, right? But here's the thing, football is all about strategy. To stay flexible for the playoffs, the Chiefs made the tough call to release Lynch. It's a reminder of how critical timing and adaptability are in this league. Now, let's talk about Montreal Washington. Remember him? After making room for Lynch, he's back on the practice squad. This guy's versatility on special teams is his superpower. Did you know he's a 5th-round pick from 2022? His ability to step in when needed is why he's such a valuable insurance policy, especially with the wide receiver group dealing with injuries and uncertainty. Speaking of wide receivers, here's a question for you. Do you think the Chiefs should rely more on players like Washington or focus on bringing in bigger names? Vote below. Washington's grit or big name experience? Dave Tubb, the Chiefs' special teams coordinator, has always been high on Washington's skills. His return isn't just logical, it's strategic. With Mecole Hardman's status up in the air, Washington could be a game changer, not just on returns but possibly as a receiver too. So what's your take? Who do you think will make the bigger impact during the playoffs? Special teamers like Washington or fresh faces stepping up? Let me know in the comments, and just like that, we're moving from these critical roster moves to a bigger picture, the future of the Chiefs' offense. Stay with me. Now, let's shift gears and talk about a cornerstone of the Chiefs' offense, Travis Kelce. We all know he's a legend, right? But even legends can't outrun time. At 35, Kelce has been the rock of this team for over a decade, but his numbers this season were his lowest since 2015. It's a tough pill to swallow, but it raises the big question. What's next for the Chiefs? At tight end, enter Colston Loveland, the Michigan Wolverines standout who's been making waves as one of college football's top prospects. At 6 feet 5 inches and 245 pounds, this guy is built for the NFL, with over 1,400 receiving yards and a first-team All-Big Ten honor to his name. Loveland seems like the perfect successor to Kelce. His hybrid skill set aligns perfectly with Andy Reid's offensive philosophy. Can you picture him running those crisp routes and making plays alongside Mams? Here's where I want to hear from you. If you were Brett Veach, would you draft a tight end like Loveland in the 1st round or focus on other needs? Let's get your thoughts in the comments. The Chiefs' ability to think ahead is what sets them apart. Planning for life after Kelce might seem daunting, but securing a talent like Loveland could ensure the offense doesn't skip a beat. And don't forget, if Kelce decides to step away soon, this move could be even more critical. Alright, now that we've looked at the Future, it's time to bring things back to the present. Speaking of major moves, what's the buzz about Tyreek Hill possibly reuniting with the Chiefs? Let's unpack that next. Alright, here's where things get really exciting. Let's talk about the possibility of Tyreek Hill rejoining the Chiefs. Can you imagine the cheetah back in Kansas City? The buzz around this potential reunion has fans everywhere on the edge of their seats, and for good reason. Hill's time in Miami has been a mixed bag. Sure, he's still the electrifying playmaker we remember, but for the first time in his career, he missed the playoffs. That's got to sting for a competitor like him. After the Dolphins finished 8-9, Hill made some telling comments. "I got to do what's best for me and my family. I'm out, bro." Sounds like the door might be open for a move, doesn't it? Now, let's not forget what Hill brought to the Chiefs. Over 6 seasons, he racked up 6,630 receiving yards and 67 touchdowns. His connection with Mam's unmatched. Opposing defenses didn't stand a chance against their improvisational brilliance. Reuniting with Hill would instantly elevate the Chiefs' offense, especially with the current receiver corps looking thin heading into 2025. But here's the big question: what would it take to bring him back? A hypothetical trade could involve a first-round pick in 2025, a third-round pick, and maybe a mid-rounder in 2026. Sounds steep, right? But considering Hill's age, he turns 31 this March, the cost might be lower than what Miami paid in 2021. What do you think? Is Hill worth the investment? Vote below. Yes, bring him back. Or no, build the future. Financially, it's tricky. The Chiefs have just $1 million in cap space right now. But Brett Veach has worked magic before, restructuring contracts and making room for stars. If Kells were to retire, that could free up significant cap space, too. Here's why Hill's return makes sense. His presence opens up the field for guys like Rashee Rice and Xavier Worthy. Plus, his leadership and experience could help younger receivers grow. And let's be honest, Hill thrives in Kansas City's system with Mams at the helm. It's a perfect match, so what's your call? Would Tyreek Hill's return guarantee another Super Bowl run, or do the financial and roster challenges make it too risky? Let's debate in the comments. Speaking of challenges, let's break down the financial and strategic implications next, because this kind of move takes some serious planning. Bringing Tyreek Hill back to Kansas City isn't just about talent. It's about navigating the numbers. The Chiefs are projected to have only $2 million in cap space, which makes this move a puzzle that Brett Veach would need to solve. But hey, we've seen him pull off cap magic before, haven't we? Here's how it could work. The Chiefs might look at restructuring existing contracts or extending key players to create space. And if Travis Kelce decides to hang up his cleats, a real possibility given his age, that would free up significant cap room. But the financials are just one part of the equation. There's also the draft capital to consider. A potential trade for Hill might require giving up a first-round pick in 2025 and additional assets. That's a big ask, but for a player like Hill, who can change a game in an instant, it might be worth it. What's your take? Should the Chiefs risk their draft future for Hill, or is it smarter to develop the younger talent? Let's hear your strategy in the comments, and don't forget the ripple effect. Hill's return would draw attention from defenses, giving playmakers like Rashee Rice and Xavier Worthy more room to shine. It could also reinvigorate the team's championship momentum. This move wouldn't just be about the present, it would be a statement. A statement that the Chiefs are all in for another Super Bowl run. So as we piece together this complex puzzle, let's not lose sight of the ultimate goal: greatness. Next, let's bring it all together and talk about what this could mean for the legacy of the Chiefs and Tyreek Hill himself. Let's wrap this up by looking at the bigger picture. What would Tyreek Hill's return mean for his legacy and the Chiefs' future? For Hill, it's a chance to come full circle, reuniting with the team where he became a household name. After all, his time in Kansas City wasn't just about stats. It was about moments that defined games, seasons, and championships for the Chiefs. Bringing Hill back would send a clear message to the league. This team isn't just chasing greatness, it's defining it. His presence could reignite the offense, galvanize the locker room, and give Mams a familiar weapon to lean on. Plus, think about how this move would excite the fanbase. Imagine Arrowhead Stadium roaring every time Hill takes the field electric, right? Of course, every move comes with risks. Financial constraints and future draft implications are real challenges, but the potential. Rewards, they could be game-changing. So here's the final question. Does reuniting with Tyreek Hill solidify the Chiefs' dynasty, or is it better to invest in fresh talent for sustained success? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Thanks for sticking with me, and as always, keep it locked here for all things Chiefs.